Okay, 6 or 7 minutes to talk about one of the most important topics that I've ever um, been fortunate enough to be taught, and that is the topic of emotional taming and tempering. I'm going to use an odd example to help express this, and we're going Old Testament today, and the four horsemen of the apocalypse. It's like one more story that's entirely worth uh, paying zero attention to earlier in life. But see, there's these four horses, and one of them is red, the red horse. So what? But the red horse stands for something, and the red horse of the apocalypse, the horses that signal the apocalypse, the red one stands for emotion. Good color for emotion, isn't it? Seeing red. So if our emotional life is untamed and untempered, if we can't control our emotions, then we can't really control anything in life. Life is essentially not worth living if our emotions are out of control. Now, probably if you're on this call, that's probably not the case in your life, but you know people, right? We could start gossiping, couldn't we? And that would be fun. One of these days we'll do nothing but gossip together, but we could gossip about people that have untamed emotional natures. When emotion strikes them, it just wipes the playing field and they're out of control. And this shows what happens to people who are riding the red horse. They're riding it straight toward the apocalypse of their life. So the great question is, when emotion strikes, how is it that we use it, or can we even use it? Well, the whole topic this week has been how to mate emotion with thinking. And these are the two organic catalysts that, when mated together, give birth to the perceptual channels in our brain. Again, one of the most stunning realizations that's ever dawned on my little brain is, wow, it takes thought plus emotion to make neural pathways in our brain. Now, a thought is sterile, and in this example, thought is masculine. And without the catalyst of emotion, thought is sterile. It needs to be impregnated with feeling. And doesn't that make sense? We think a trillion thoughts every single day. Does every single one of our thoughts manifest in our life? Thank God that it doesn't. Imagine if every thought that rolled through your head manifested in your life. Life would be utterly, totally, entirely out of control and unmanageable. But it's the thoughts that we feel, it's the thoughts that we add emotion to that end up becoming the climate and the character of our life, and essentially do become our character, our disposition, the way that we're likely to react to things. So thought on its own is sterile. Now, emotion on its own is just going to continue the same pattern over and over and over and over and over again. Untamed emotion, the deeper part of our brain, we know that emotion associates with the limbic system, a much deeper part of our brain. And it's much more associated with reptile brain. Reptile brain means instantaneous, chronic, habitual, knee-jerk reactions to things. Now, we have a higher brain that does the thinking, but if the two of those are disconnected, then it's not good. And we really live a life over which we have very little ability to aim or to focus. The key in all of this, of course, is to take strong emotion whenever we feel it and couple it with the highest thought that we can think. Emotion, feeling, coupled, blended, mated, impregnated with the best thought that we can use. And when those two come together, it's an organic catalyst that gives birth to the production of new neural pathways, new ways of perceiving. Modern science, you could read the papers, the modern science and the neuroanatomists say it definitely takes these two organic catalysts, especially the emotion when it's coupled with thinking, to build new ways of perceiving. Now, what do we call better thinking? That emoji. What do we call better thinking? Prayer. Prayer is better thinking, isn't it? What's a prayer? It's a higher more functional, more beautiful, more carefully chosen, more accurate, but especially more truthful thought. When we take strong emotion, when the storms of emotion or the waves of emotion hit us, if we couple it with a good thought, we're building a new reality for ourselves. This is why it's so terribly important that when emotion hits us, we pay attention to what we're thinking. Untamed emotion that just wildly follows the old patterns of thought in our head not only doesn't change us, it digs the channels. Yogis call them samskaras. It digs the channels of automatic reaction deeper into us. So the wildly angry or the wildly jealous or the wildly fearful or the wildly out of control emotional nature that doesn't change its thinking is doomed literally to apocalypse. They're riding the red horse right over the side of the cliff. Yuck. You don't want to do that. So this is why it's so incredibly important that when storms of emotion hit, that we are exceedingly careful to watch what we're thinking in those moments. And of course, this is always when it's hardest to do that. It's hardest to aim and to change our thinking and our focus when the deep emotions hit, because our limbic system is engaged and that's automatic reaction. But you know what? You can do it. And not only can you do it, you have to do it. And no one else can do it for you. No one, not even God himself, can change the focus and the direction of your thinking when you're swamped in emotion. But if you are willing to do it and you're willing to persist when emotional waves come and couple your thoughts, such as, hey, a bad feeling comes and you think things are always working out for me. Everything is always going my way. Great good comes from this. Of course, I could name a trillion prayers, right? So I think you get the idea. Tomorrow, we're going to drive the point home with some personal examples that I think you'll find fascinating. So anyway, use your emotions. They will arise. Couple them with beautiful thoughts. You're giving birth to new neural pathways, and you're on your way, kids. See you tomorrow.